Okay, welcome everybody. We'll get started here. So I think those of you who saw the name of this talk, it's something about MCP or Model Context Protocol. It's a standard way to create integrations or toolings for LLMs. I will be talking about that, but I don't just want to talk to you. I want to be able to show you a demo, which is hopefully more exciting. It's a little more terrifying for me, but that's okay. So my name's Jordan. I work at Keboola. We're at booth L40. If you haven't checked us out already, we're an end-to-end data platform, so we contain all of the tooling necessary to help you extract, integrate your data, store your data, and then automate all of your processes with it. And today, what I want to be talking about is two agents that we've been working on and developing inside of our platform. One, a data engineering agent that I'll show first. And this data engineering agent, through MCP tooling, can interact with our entire platform end-to-end. And I want to be able to show you how this all works with a nice demo. And I thought a lot about the type of demo use case that I want to show you. And I want to make it fun and mostly engaging, so I don't just want to pull in data from a MySQL database. How many people have a dog or a cat or four-legged friend? Cool. So I love my dog. She has a Fi collar. I don't know if that's a thing in the UK, but it's basically a Fitbit for dogs. So it tracks her steps, it tracks her activity, her sleep. I like it a lot. And I want to be able to pull in some of that data from this API that they have and then be able to do my own analytics on top of it. So I have a prompt here that I've worked on a little bit just to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible for a live demo. And I'm going to go ahead and enter this prompt. And our agent's going to do a few different things, and I'll talk kind of at a high level about what's going on as it's going through this. So inside of Keboola, again, we have a lot of different functionality. So we have a huge number of pre-built components. These let you pull in all of your data from whatever source it might live in. In this case, we don't have a pre-built component for Phi. Nobody's needed to pull that in before. But that's okay because we have a bunch of ways to pull in any data from any REST API, GraphQL API, anywhere where it might live. So our agent, again, through our MCP tooling, is able to figure out every component that is in the platform, hopefully identify the correct component to use for the job, and then actually set it up and configure it all for you as you're going. So that's basically what's going on here. We're figuring out exactly which of these components inside of the Keboola platform we should use to complete this task. The agent's going to go find all of these things. And bear with me, the internet is not amazing, so streaming tokens back is not the easiest thing to do right now. There'll probably be a few periods while I'm talking where we're going to be waiting for something. Feel free to ask any questions as that's happening. We can make it interactive or give comments as that's happening, because there will be a few times that we're waiting for something to happen. This is going to be one of them. But if there aren't any questions to start off, I'll talk to you a little bit more about what everything we have in the platform is. So again, that includes components. That includes the actual data storage itself. We work really closely with Snowflake and BigQuery to provide you a data warehouse underneath. You can always plug in your own data warehouse. And then we have the infrastructure to kind of automate all of this. So we have the execution environments for all of your jobs and everything else that you need to do. Looks like it's figured out what I kind of want to do next. And so now it's going to help me actually set this up. And it will actually let me do it without leaking my credentials to all of you so you can see my dog's steps. So I'm going to give it my username and pass it through here. Hopefully, there we go. And then this is actually going to encrypt all of my information and then be able to add that to the configuration, we call it, of our components. Now it needs my password, so I'm going to grab this as well. And I will save those. So great. Now with those, it's going to call a tool. And in this case, it's actually not calling the right tool. But let's see what exactly happens here. What it should have done is actually call the create component. And let's see what it's going to try to do here. And if not, then I might just try again, because this was an oddity that just happened. So assuming that that definitely wasn't the right thing to do, I'm just going to run through that again. To make sure that it actually uses the right component here. And again, I think that this is a really fun example, hopefully, because we're pulling in some real meaningful data to me that I'll be able to do a few things with. After using this agent to actually extract the data, I'm going to show you what we can do to get some insights from it and visualize it as we're going here. And again, all of these tools that you're seeing are as a part of our MCP server. So that means that this exact workflow can be done wherever you do your work every single day, whether that's Claude, whether that's ChatGPT. You can connect the tools of the Keboola platform there to actually query your data warehouse, integrate new data sources to your data warehouse, and all of these things through natural language. And to us, that's the really, really exciting part. So now it's going to hopefully go ahead and try to do this again and figure out what it needs to do. And you can see it's also querying all of our documentation as it goes there. And now, perfect, found the right component ID again. So that is promising. Let's hope that it continues onward the right path. One more time, we're going to go through the credentials here. So I'm going to pass these across. And the password. So one of the powerful things about Keboola is that you can use it in a lot of different ways. We have this nice UI that really lets you interact in a nice visual way, but everything's also completely API based. You're able to interact with it from your command line as well. So we have a full CLI. And the power of that is it gives you a place where all of the stakeholders, from the technical people in your organization to non-technical people, can actually start to interact and collaborate on your data infrastructure overall. So that means defining what data actually matters to you, why it's important, giving people insight or oversight into what's going on with that data, how it's being used, and really bringing everybody together to be able to do the same work in the same platform, regardless of what level of technicality you might bring. So now, luckily, we're going through the perfect process here. It's going ahead and creating this configuration for us. And as it does that, we should see it all change a little bit here. It's actually going to require my approval first, which is always a great thing. So I'm just going to give this a second. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. Like I said, there are going to be a few times when we're waiting here. But it looks good so far. So maybe I'll talk a little bit about some of the choices we've made with this tooling and why this matters. And again, based on the name of my talk, why it becomes opinionated. So we have two different ways to pull in data from a generic API. One of them is through what we call our generic extractor. The other is through what we call our custom Python component. And one of the things that we struggled with, experimented with, and debated was, is it easier for an LLM to generate hundreds of lines of JSON specific to one of our components? Or is it easier to generate hundreds of lines of Python? And why, right? And like, this is a really hard thing to test. A lot of the work that goes into this is the evaluations around which one is actually easier most of the time for an LLM based on all of the training data it's been given. For the most part, what we found is custom Python is going to perform better overall. And this tells us a lot about how we need to design components moving forward, making them LLM friendly, right? This is a whole new game that we need to figure out how to play. And again, it's a really hard thing to figure out how to test as we are actually trying to develop this. And I think that's really important. One of the reasons we started with MCP tooling before we actually tried to build this agent in our platform is because it narrows the problem space down a lot. You don't have to worry about managing the conversation, the sessions of that conversation, everything else. We kind of passed that problem along for a little bit and gave it to Claude and said, we want to focus on building the best deterministic tooling that we can build for our platform. So sitting down, building an MCP server, getting the tooling right was really important. Being able to do that without thinking about the agent at first is also really useful. It helps you get going a lot faster. It really helps make sure that things are working as well as possible. And I would assume that this is going to be something related to the Wi-Fi that's going on here. It should not be taking quite this long. So I'm going to give it another minute, and then we'll see what's going on. But again, yeah, being able to narrow down the problem space, focus in on, again, these tools are completely deterministic in the way that they run, right? You can install these tools, you can use them in code, and it's going to just be like any library or SDK that you would be using. The difference really comes down to how we formulated the parameters, ideally for an LLM to be able to use. And in our findings, that was really much easier to do when we focused on that at first. So the question is, what's in the repo for the MCP server? that I pointed this at? Yeah, so this is just somebody also who likes dogs a lot and wanted to get their dog's data, made a little bit of a Python wrapper around the undocumented GraphQL API. And so there's just a little bit of documentation about that. So this is not using that code directly, no. Yeah, it's just analyzing it in the same way that Claude Code cursor would be able to go kind of find the documentation for whatever you're trying to use and then move forward with it. That's exactly how it's happening. And again, any other questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'm going to see. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Thank you for the question. So now it looks like it's finished creating the config. And I don't mean to sound surprised by any means, trust me. So I'm going to go ahead and approve that, and where you should see it pop up here any second. Great. It's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on. So yes, hopefully, if it pulls in the data well, you'll be able to see a photo of my dog. That's how we'll really know we've succeeded here. So it's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on. And now we have this full configuration, all of my credentials that I passed in encrypted, and then the set of Python code, which is automatically version controlled inside of the platform. All of these other nice features that make it production for you to run. It's not just on your laptop. This now lives in a place that I can automate it. And this is something interesting to me, right? Because I think that it's always easier to click a button than say, run this for me, right? And this is one of those trade-offs where a lot of what we're still trying to figure out comes down to the UX and the UI of how people interact with this. So just with our MCP tooling, you can't add a button to Claude or ChatGPT as a builder of an MCP server, right? But we already have this wonderful platform where you have these things available. And so figuring out the right trade-off between I need to prompt it versus it's easier to click a button, and all these little things that actually make your day-to-day experience better are definitely the most challenging part to figure out. So now it looks like the job is processing. Hopefully this won't take too long for us here. When our jobs run inside of Keboola, you can see we have a huge amount of metadata associated with what's going on. We can see the logs in quite detail as it's outputting the tables for us here. And all of these logs are able to be seen by the agent as well, so it can go through these types of debugging loops if it needs to. If there were to be an error, it would be able to kind of figure it out on its own and keep going. In the future, we also have branching built into the full platform, right? So in the future, being able to kind of do these things in parallel, there's no reason really to not kick off 5 of these processes to understand which one is going to really stick, which one is going to work the best. So here we can see some of the data is getting ready to come in. Doesn't look like all of it has fully been loaded yet. But here we go. So it looks like I didn't get the photo URL, unfortunately, but it looks like what we've gotten is a set of tables straight from Phi. So I can go look at hopefully the sleep statistics. And it's going to give me a data sample here. I don't love that row showed up. So let's see if we can maybe fix that. And let me see if I've also got now the activity. Great. So again, other than this, which I think we should try to fix, I've now pulled in all of this data from this API myself. I've got it stored in my warehouse, and I'm able to go start building out models and transformations with it, as well as going to build insights directly from it. So let's try to figure out now. And I'm going to say, looks like you included the header in the table. Please remove it. Also try to get the URL to my dog's photo, because I'd really like to show it all to you. So let's see if we can get this to work now. It's going to go ahead and there we go. It knows exactly what the problem is. It has all of that context, and it's going to be able to just as easily update this configuration for us. And now I can say that this was just so I can show you the versioning as it's going to happen, hopefully, and we'll be able to kind of see everything that the agent has changed as it's going. But again, in the meantime, now we can see this data has been deposited in our storage with all of this metadata associated with it. So we can see this is being stored in Snowflake specifically. Again, we work with a lot of different data warehouses, primarily Snowflake and BigQuery. But being able to go through this experience, use your agent to actually interact with your data warehouse, pull new data in, and then query it is really, really powerful. So it's going to go ahead and try to update this for us. And as it does it, I'm going to go ahead and sign into one of our other interfaces here by hopefully going right in here. Great. So this is our chat interface. You can think of it more as the analyst than the data engineering agent. So this analyst has read-only access. It's not able to go mess up anything as it's going here, but it does have access to the data that I've just pulled in. You can see this is everything that we just worked to pull in. We probably want to do a little bit more with it, but in the meantime, we can see it here. We can start to explore what exactly is going on. And let me just go back and see if I'm not waiting for this. Great, that's still updating. So in the meantime, I'm just going to ask a few simple questions. Maybe I'll even ask, like, create some queries to tell me about the data quality of the tables in my storage. And this is going to go through, again, it has all of this read-only access to the context and metadata that we've just brought in. Same thing, this is all based on our MCP tooling, right? It's this spine and this backbone that gives it the power of the platform, and then can put it in all of these different separate environments, all these different separate contexts, wherever you want to or need to be working. So again, whether you spend a lot of your day in ChatGPT, that's great, maybe. Now you can go ahead and use this here too. Same with Claude, all of these other places, anywhere that supports the tooling. But we know that's not always preferred. And we also know that we can add some additional improvements that wouldn't be possible otherwise when we take control of both sides of it. So that's exactly what's happening here. And it looks like what I can show you, hopefully, as this is generating. I'll go back and approve this update that it's making, so we can hopefully get in some more of the correct data, and I can show you that photo. So now it's going to go ahead and have shown this update. It will hopefully tell us a little bit about what it's doing and why. Just like this, now it's going to take us right back to this configuration. So I'll show you, because why not? And again, if you are more technical, if you are the data engineer, you can absolutely go in here, understand the exact diff. There's nothing stopping you from updating this code yourself. Again, you can pull in this exactly like into your local repository. You can be working with it with Cursor just as well, and using the MCP tools to make it all much easier. So now I'm going to exit out of this and go ahead and run this component once more. And in the meantime, I think that it gave me a set of queries now, and now it looks like it's going to be executing some of these to tell us a little bit about the data quality here. So we can see it's going to give us the missing values, what exactly is missing, and what else is going on. So now it's going to look at the data types, make sure that those are okay. And this is, again, a very exploratory part of the process. This is not meant to be me building a data pipeline. It's very much meant to be a safe place for me to explore what's already been going on. So now, great, duplicates, another great thing to check. So it sees that there are indeed some data quality issues. And now, looks like we have another error. And this error, simply there are a few duplicate columns. This is exactly where I can say, check the last job error and fix the issue for me. And it's going to be able to go through, get this context for us, and then hopefully update this to be able to get it all running and working perfectly. Now this, again, working very hard to figure out what exactly is going on with the data, and I'll be able to use all of this to hopefully be able to build you some insights into what my dog has been doing over the past few days as I've been away here in London. And now it'll output us this nice assessment, so I'll make that a little bit bigger so we can take a good look at it. Header row contamination, great. It caught that one just like we did. That's wonderful. Now, just to talk a little bit about also the future and how these things work, I will be saying that this is the type of situation where having two agents can be useful. Now the question is, how can we actually get them to interact on their own? How can we pass requests from somebody who's even less technical, who maybe sees the output of the data, but doesn't want to go in and change the code itself? And this is exactly where we see a lot of value and benefits, being able to kind of trigger a request saying, my business user, my stakeholder saw that this data had a few issues. How can I pass this request back and have somebody else work on it or myself work on it inside of the platform with the other agent to get everything working perfectly? Great. So now this is fixing this issue for us. It got the data from the job, and now it's going to go update the config again. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to go through and say, build me a dashboard that displays my dog's step, and sleep data. And this will just show us the ability to kind of generate these nice insights on the fly. There's a lot of other things we could do with this. I could see how much is the hot weather affecting my dog? Is she walking less whenever it's hot outside? I'd easily be able to pull in that additional data too, get all of this working really easily together. And again, this would be something that I can trust that will still be running in a month from now as it's living in the platform. It's really meant to sit there and live with you. So I'm going to give this one more minute, and then I will be handing the stage to my CEO, who will be talking about a few other things and showing you how we're also thinking about what comes after agents and how we are planning for Keboola to be the most deterministic platform where you can really execute these things and ensure, again, that they're going to be running for you consistently every day when you need it. Now it's going to go ahead and generate this dashboard for us. Wonderful. We can see, again, it's querying the data. We know about some of these data quality issues, but we're, again, have those in our backlog to fix. We'll absolutely fix those. Querying GraphQL endpoints is definitely never a super easy task. And now it's going to go ahead and generate this for us. Yes, my dog's name is Selah. She's not just a border collie. Most of these apps only show you one, breed that you can enter. She's half border collie and half blue heeler. Does have a lot of energy. Now here again, approval to update this configuration. So we're going to give this a second to generate. What I'll also show you, right, and one of the hardest things about this is making sure that you have oversight and insight into what tools are being called and what's going on, making sure that you can roll back as things maybe go wrong, as things are changing, making sure that you're in control of all of this. Awesome. So now this has gone ahead and updated. And I'll just wait another minute for this dashboard to finish up here. Unlike the text response, we're not streaming the output for the dashboard being created. I will go ahead and save this and run it one more time. And let's make sure that we can get this up really quickly. I'll give it another minute. Wonderful, just in time. Okay, so let me pop this open here, show you a little bit about what's going on. So this is the dashboard generated on the fly from the data that I just pulled in. So we can see her average steps. She's achieving her goal pretty well. She also sleeps a lot, though. That happens when you get exercise, right? And we can see it tracking all of these different things. Again, this is really nice. It's a little bit more in depth than what the app gives me. And now I would be able to really get some more advanced insights when I bring in some additional data. So this is really all I have time for before I let my CEO on. So any questions really quickly? If not, I would love to talk to you about this more at the booth, show you how you can apply this to your business overall. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will hand this back off to my CEO, Pavel, to show you something else very new and exciting.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Pavel, I'm co-founder and CEO. I really want to say thank you, Jordan. I admire you. Like Mark Zuckerberg and you in live demos. This is really scary moment for everyone who has ever done it. So thank you.
Thank you.
A big part of our platform is data ingestion and pipelines. And we are always kind of like, what's next, right? Jordan was showing you how it works together with the agents once you kind of like have the data. But we've always been kind of like, how is the AI gonna change the authoring of data pipelines? How is it gonna change how we run them? So in our R&D, we spent last year kind of like trying to actually have an answer to this. And this is our, we call it Osiris, and this is kind of like our attempt to actually do it. So it's open source. You can actually go to our GitHub, you can use it. And very shortly, in 3 minutes, I'm gonna show it to you. This is not a proper demo. It's just like, hey, this is what we're working on. Do you find it interesting or not? Good direction or not? So basically, on the problem, everybody is talking, hey, how is my business doing? Where's my data? Who buys from me? Who doesn't buy from me? So I'm gonna show you, not live, I pre-recorded, on this, and we're gonna use E2B, we're gonna use Osiris and Mother Duck, and it's about determinism as a contract. So the process has 4 steps. How do you use AI to author the pipeline? How do you actually use it to compile the pipeline with all the tests and evals? How do you then run it, execute it with E2B sandbox? And then how do you use AI to actually observe everything? And it's different for humans and AIs. So like when you author, you can actually chat to it or you can actually build, like component on the fly, or you can use component from registry of build components by AI or by other tools. Then AI compiles it. You can see the fingerprints. For every single action, there is a very, very detailed fingerprint, so you can validate if the round was right, if it was the same. Then you execute locally on E2B, and then you observe, right? And everything is done with LLMs, but it needs to be deterministic and run every time the same. So DuckDB, there is no data. Okay, so then we're gonna author with Osiris in your CLI. So how can I help you? Well, I need to reactivate customers. You actually speak to it, right? And the agent is trying to see what components it should use, and if it needs to build one or if it can reuse it, then it checks them if they are connected. And every single step, there's 717 tests in the pipeline. 717. It's really, really big. So yeah, this is kind of like what we're gonna do. It's gonna take the data, I do identity resolution features and just build it together. So now we are actually compiling how it's gonna be. Oh, now we are running. In the E2B, so you can see how fast it is. So just run E2B, start running, generates a lot of events which are built for AI to interpret. But again, as I said, the whole pipeline is authored, run, and explained by AI. So, okay, how do we see it as humans? You can click and you can actually see the events, metrics, artifacts. You can see technical logs, with the fingerprints everywhere. And you can also go with metadata, see the pipeline steps, also observe the performance, and have all overview. And okay, this is good for technical people. And now we see the data is in the DuckDB, mother Duck actually. And it was all done on the fly by LLMs. So this is the process. This is how it actually was running. We also have data quality checks. So you can see like if there was some schema drift or whatever, and it proposes next actions, what you should do actually with it. And always you can see the code, which was kind of like the JSON, which was run to actually author and run it. So this is very fast, I know. This is just like our sneak peek into what we are doing in our R&D. And things like this are then gonna power the end product that Jordan was using. Guys, like everything, like I've been here 8 times in Big Data London. Every year there is a different theme. Remember last year? It was kind of like end-to-end and racks. This year it's agents, right? And but how? How to do it differently? So this is our hard question, how to actually change the paradigm, how we do things with AI in data world. So if you want to explore it, please go to GitHub. You can star it always. That's a good choice, by the way. It helps us. You can fork it. You can use it. Please, if you want to join the open source project, we always happy for suggestions and kind of like co-workers. So thank you very much. If you have more questions, find us at booth and enjoy the show mainly. Yeah. Thanks. Cheers.